Okay, what are you saying, people, and welcome back to another stream. What you say, William? How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. Welcome back to the stream. Okay, let's see what we got cooking on Tuesday morning. So, okay, so a lot of these USD pairs we've had a lot of nice bull runs to the upside for these pairs: Euro USD, Pound USD, AID USD, and so on, and the opposite for USD CAD and the other USD pairs. But for this one, Euro USD, it's at a really nice level of resistance, which I've got my eye on for some potential sells. Again, guys, if you haven't checked out my weekly analysis, make sure you go do that. Explain why that I'm looking for the move to the downside, and essentially just because it's a nice level of resistance. And if you look at the the overall structure of the market for Euro USD, we had this nice dump, pullback, dump, potential pullback or reversal. We'll find out. But if it is a pullback, this is where we should turn to the downside. So therefore, it is a nice area to sell at. So I am looking for sells here for Euro USD. Had a bit of a quite a big pullback there on that candle closure, but nonetheless, I think if you can hold this resistance, Euro USD does look good for some more downside, I feel like. That's good to hear. Oh, yeah, I mean, yeah. To be fair, I forgot it was a bank holiday as well, to be fair. So we're in the same boat with that one, to be fair. I mean, we all make mistakes, and yeah, it's on a demo as well, so no biggie with that as well. So it doesn't really matter too much. But I mean, I know probably a lot of people would have forgot it's a bank holiday because I definitely did forget it's a bank holiday, really. But yeah, didn't see too much movement going on yesterday. To be fair, a lot of pairs are kind of just um, not moving sideways, but kind of moving in one direction, but very, very slowly. So there was not much momentum in the charts yesterday. I got into a CAD JPY trade, which I'm still in right now, actually. And price, you can see for CAD JPY, is just moving sideways. So nothing's really happened there as well. My entry was on this candle here with stops above there, and as you can see, yeah, we haven't really gone anywhere since I've entered. We did move up. It was like potentially price was going to break through this resistance here, but I respected it a couple of times, came back down, and now it's just kind of struggling to break through this support here as well, which is still holding. So I'm looking for CAD JPY to break to the downside. I still think it can, but yeah, it's not giving me too much confidence because I would have liked price to break out by now, and the fact that it's still moving sideways is not the greatest thing in the world, I have to admit, but there's a lot of room for this pair to the downside. We'll obviously come back into this area here, really nice support there, big move to the upside. Now flipped as resistance, and as you can see, we never got the retest, but we broke through. So I think we're getting the retest now. I'm looking for some downside for this pair, back down into kind of this area of support there, just to fill that range to the downside, because I do feel like some of these JPY pairs and USD pairs do have some room to the downside now, because they've been a little bit choppy for the past couple of weeks now, last week and the week before, and we're looking to short them ever since. So yeah, I think we could be in for a nice move to the downside, but CAD JPY, it does really need to break through this support to have any hope of moving anywhere. I was expecting to break here, but kind of had a bit of a false break there, closed back above, and from there kind of just moved sideways. So yeah, still looking for that break to the downside, but I do expect it to happen soon. But yeah, we'll see what happens, because this one is just moving sideways, to be honest with you. Hi Chia, how are you doing? Hope you are doing well. Looking to sell AU and buy GA. Okay, let's take a look at that. I mean, AU is definitely one of the pairs that I'm looking to sell as well this week. AU, nice move to the downside already, to be fair. I believe that probably would happen. Yeah, that's happened overnight for me, because I do not remember seeing that price action. So yeah, that's definitely happened overnight there. We're looking quite bearish here. Despite looking bearish here, I still do see a lot more downside for AU, because you can see here on the 4H chart, we've had this big move to the upside here. Well, we had a massive move to the downside, but that's kind of like half the size of this up move. So we've had a really nice up move to the downside, and as markets move, they fluctuate up down, they have those waves, and essentially it's time for a down move for AU to have a breather. This pair can still go up for ages if it wants to, but sooner or later it does need to have a breather, and I think now could be a nice time for that breather. So with that in mind, if I go on the daily chart quickly, I did say potentially price could come into this area here, respect and come down, so it's really tapped into that area there, and we do have potentially this area price could come back and retest as well. It's kind of already at this area as well, so kind of already hit the first target that I had at the start of the week, but I still see more downside for AU regardless. For now, it's looking quite bearish, so again, I wouldn't look to sell it right now, but I'll wait for a pullback potentially. If we can pull back, somewhere like this, halfway of that move there, that'll be nice. If I get a fill from that move, around 50% there, nice support and resistance around there as well. So if AU was to pull back, form another lower high, and then take it down, or even pull back and respect this resistance up there, that'll be a really nice double top there coming back up. That'll be nice as well. So But yeah, I do agree, more downside for AU. I do believe this pair can pull back a lot more, especially if like Euro USD and Pound USD start going to the downside and we start seeing DXY pushing further up, which is strong to do so actually. But if it does manage to push up, then yeah, AU does look good for more downside. So yeah, I do agree with that. It's just that we already had a little bit of a downside move right now, so I'm gonna wait for that retracement, and then yeah, look for that lower high or equal high back up there, and then look to short it back down again. But yeah, AU is looking good. Pound AUD, kind of like the flip side of it, to be fair. As AU moves up, you know, sometimes we do see correlation between Pound AUD as well, you know, basically because they do have AU in both of these Forex pairs. But if AU becomes weak, then I do expect to see Pound AUD push up. We've had a really nice dump to the downside recently, for the past couple of weeks now, to be fair, but basically as AU's gone up, Pound AU's come down, and I think it's time for this one to retrace as well. We do have quite a bullish trend overall in the market, potentially showing some signs of a reversal though, especially with this down move here, so I wouldn't be surprised if we do reverse. But I think, yeah, Pound AUD is looking good for a move to the upside back into this area here. Price support, now time resistance. We did not get that retest there, so I think a retest of that area does look good. So yeah, I can see it move back to the 1.88 area potentially, maybe even higher. We might pull back into this area here. Potentially as well, but again, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it if we can break through that barrier. But yeah, Pound AUD is looking good for longs. It looks like it is finding a bit of a bottom here as well. Nice wicks there, push up, wicked it again twice, so potential double bottom there. And we are pushing past this area, so if we can pull back, because again, these pairs have kind of pushed on already overnight / late yesterday. So if we can pull back, you know, form a double bottom at this area here, or pull back, form a higher low somewhere like this, maybe on that level there, that would be a nice opportunity for me as well. And yeah, look to go long on that one. So yeah, I do agree with this one. Back into this resistance here, probably the first target, because you know, price could come back down. You know, from that level, you do have to respect this bearish trend to some extent, even though if we do expect it to continue to go up. But yeah, Pound AUD does look good for more upsides. Looking quite bullish right now. Seeing a lot of wicks in that area because basically price is getting stuck at this level of resistance, which does make sense, of course. But yeah, if we can have that pullback, because it's already pushed up now, I want to see that pullback, not because it has to, but because we want to see an entry, of course. But then yeah, more upside back into 1.87, and if you can break through that back into that daily area that I was talking about, around the 1.87800 mark. So yeah, Pound AUD does look good for buys, and AU does look good for sells, but we do need to see that pullback to get some entries. CHF JPY long 4H, let's take a look at that, what's going on with CHF JPY. Okay, CHF JPY, yeah, this one was a little bit choppy. I was looking for potential longs last week for CHF JPY, but as price action continued, I lost a little bit of faith in this pair, just because how it's been moving. If I was to expect to see a move for CHF JPY, it would be to the upside. So I do agree with your bias there. It's just that it's a little bit choppy. That's why I'm not really looking to trade it. I was last week, but I haven't really had it in my watch list for this week. So yeah, not looking at too much, but it definitely is respecting this potential higher low here, because we've formed this bottom here, we've pushed up. This is probably price trying to form a higher low here, and I think essentially if we can hold that, you know, we can probably see more upside back into this area up there. So it does look good for more upside for CHF JPY. We're respecting that level really nicely. We tested it once, twice, came back again, retested it again overnight, stroke this morning, and now we're really seeing some nice momentum to the upside. So yeah, CHF is looking strong overall really, and CHF JPY is looking good. So yeah, I agree with that. We do have kind of a little bit of an obstacle here though. If you can clear that, then it should be looking good for CHF JPY. But yeah, it's at some resistance now. If it can break it, then I think we should be flying to the upside, back to the 121 level potentially, that resistance there. But yeah, it just depends if we can have that breakout of this, because it might just kind of move sideways from there on. But if it can break through that resistance, then it should be looking really good to the upside. USD CHF, yeah, I mean CHF has been quite choppy recently, most CHF pairs. So again, another CHF pair is being quite choppy there. Just clear the chart for a second. Yeah, so this one, another pair that I was looking to get short last week, but then again, price action has been a little bit choppy, so I've kind of let the pair go and moved it off my watch list. Again, I still am favoring a move to the downside. I still am favoring a move to the downside, but it's just like I said, a little bit choppy. Yeah, it's just very choppy, to be fair, but it is still respecting some technical analysis here. We've got this nice bearish trend line here. Price has been testing that, still respecting that really, really well. It's obviously respecting that support as well, but potentially we've had a bit of a double top here. As you can see, price is coming to that area once again and then rejected it very strongly. So I think if this 0.91600 level can hold, which is this resistance, then I do see USD CHF coming down to the downside, back into that support, maybe even back into this area there as well, 0.90400. If we do see that, then we do expect to see a lot of weakness in the US dollar if that move was to happen. But yeah, it's looking quite bearish here. Yeah, it is a choppy pair, I have to admit, but I think if you can stay below this trend line, stay below that resistance there, then yeah, I think more downside for USD CHF as well, and more upside for CHF JPY. Yeah, I mean, it does look like potentially these pairs could be reversing this week. So I do agree with there. I do agree with you there, Chia. It looks like these pairs could be, because they're giving us some nice signals, but then again, they could still push on because the momentum on the higher time frames is still to the upside. If you look at the daily, the momentum there is to the upside. You can still push on, but yeah, I do agree. We do have some nice reversal signs here, and I am looking to short these pair pound USD. I'm definitely looking to short. Kind of had a bit of a move there this morning, slash early this morning, because I did miss that move. But yeah, I'm still looking for shorts for pound USD, Euro USD as well. Still looking for shorts there. Like I said, if Euro USD can hold this area here, which is doing so far, I mean, I don't really like this candle here too much, the way it's pulled back and closed there. It's not really giving me too much of a good sign. But then again, it is still giving me an opportunity to get involved, because if that did close here, I might have just missed that trade altogether. But yeah, if we can hold this resistance here for Euro USD, I will be looking for sales to take it to the downside. We'll be looking to sales to take to the downside, and same for like the other USD pairs as well. I think you can take Euro GBP actually. Okay, Euro pound is looking very, very strong here. So with this price action here, taking out that high, I probably would expect more upside for Euro pound at this point. So that means Euro, well, if the technical analysis is right, that means Euro should be stronger than the pound. That means probably pound USD would be better to sell in terms of strength of the currency. In terms of technicals, I think Euro USD is probably better to sell for me. But I think, yeah, if we do see Euro pound go up, then, pound USD will move a lot stronger to the downside. It's just that thing for pound USD, we've had this move here. I want to see some retracement to the up, so I want price to come back into, these areas up here for me to sell it. Whereas Euro USD is kind of at the area that I want to sell already. So that's why I'm looking at Euro USD. Even despite that, Euro might even be stronger than the pound. But from a technical speaking, I can put my stop loss just above that high, whereas pound, I have to wait for some retracement, which might not even happen. We might just dump to the downside. So I'm looking at Euro USD mostly to sell. But I think pound USD might move a little bit further, simply because Euro pound looks like it's going up, so pound will be weaker than the euro. So you can have your take on that. Which one do you prefer? Do you prefer having the tighter stop loss, or maybe catching more pips to the downside, kind of Yeah, whatever your preference is really. But I'm personally looking at selling the Euro USD. Good morning, Jackson. How are you doing? Yeah, we'll take a look at gold and pound USD. So yeah, like I was saying for pound USD, it's looking good for sales here. Potentially our first lower high there. So I'm seeing pricing come back into that same area, and if it does do that, then yeah, sales will be looking great for pound USD, because we've had this nice move to the upside here. If I do zoom out, we've come into this area here, which I was talking about last week. Nice area where we had this massive dump to the downside, all the way back down to 1.36. So yeah, I'm looking at a push back down into this level here for pound USD, 1.37, kind of 700 area. Nice resistance, broke above, turned support. Want to see price come back and retest this area. We might even see a lot more downside, to be honest, for pound USD. We could even come back into these areas, but again, trying to be a little bit more conservative, not too aggressive with my targets here, because price, it does have a bullish trend here. It could just pull back down, form a higher low, and just continue. So I think for now, pound USD does look good for a move back down to 1.37 700, maybe further, like I said, but that's the level I'll be looking at. So yeah, I think I'll be looking for sales if we can get that pullback and then take it to the downside, something like that, and the lower high. And then yeah, more downside for pound USD. So that's what I'm favoring for this pair. Gold is looking very bearish this morning, in fact, actually. I mean, I have been saying since last week sales will be looking good here. I'm not in a sell from this level, to be fair, because I kind of didn't miss that move, kind of spiked to the upside yet, 3 a.m. there. I was definitely asleep. And then yeah, it's fallen to the downside quite aggressively now. So gold had a good chance of rejecting this level, simply because if I go on the daily chart, you can see a nice little double top there, and from that double top we've had this massive melt to the downside. So it does pack a punch, that level, clearly, and it was going to have a good chance of reacting to that level, not necessarily rejecting that level and coming all the way back down, but reacting to it at least, which we are seeing now. Like I said, I'm still bullish on gold overall. I still think we can push the levels up there around the 1880 mark, or even to the 1900 up there. So I can still see that coming soon. But for gold right now, we're coming back into that support, and I think potentially some temporary buys could be looking good. I wouldn't hold on to these buys for too long, just because of all this momentum here, and since we're coming from such a key level, we could maybe see some upside here and come straight back down again, something like that. If price was to move all the way back down to, I'll just zoom out a little bit, if price was to move all the way back down to this level, then I think some long-term buys will be looking good from here, because this is our range here. As you can see, we're respecting that range really nicely previously, broke through it. Could be now be coming back with a retest and then see the continuation. So long-term buys do look good from the 1796 area. But for me right now, the price is so bearish coming into that level. So I think some temporary buys, maybe on the 15-minute time frame, hourly maybe. If we can hold on to this level here, if we can hold on to that level for gold, I think some nice buys back up again, back into this resistance. Then from there, yeah, I'll probably look to take profit there, to be fair. So some short-term buys do look good, but that's a lot of bearish momentum, so you do have to definitely wait for price to turn bullish, show some confirmations before getting involved, just because with that momentum you could easily actually break through this level and see it move back down into these areas there. So if we can hold into this level, I can see some buys back up to 1820, then we might sell off again. But if you do break through this, then I think I'll be looking for buys to hold on for a bit from here, 1796, take that to these highs and maybe even further as well. So that's what I'm expecting for gold. But yeah, like I said, long term I can see upside, but right now we are seeing a lot of bearish momentum there. Euro JPY longs, Yeah, that one's looking strong as well. I mean, it does look like we are seeing some euro strength coming through. I mean, euro JPY for me, I was looking for shorts as long as price stays below this resistance here. So if we can break through that, then yeah. But for me, I'm looking for shorts for euro JPY because we're still hanging on to this resistance here. If we do break through that, then I'll probably just call it quits with Euro JPY. But this is kind of like the last area that I'm looking to sell the pair. I have been looking to sell the pair since last week, to be honest. But yeah, we are still looking quite bullish here for Euro JPY, so there's no reason for me to short, but there's definitely some indication that we could actually break through this level here in the 4H. You can see push, pull back into that previous higher low, and obviously the momentum has shifted back to the ball. So yeah, I wouldn't look to short go long there personally just because of the levels at, but yeah, if we do break through, then yeah, more upside does look good for Euro JPY. But yeah, at the moment in time, we are seeing such a strong euro really. Even in the Euro USD, prices still trying to push up as well. Euro JPY, Euro Pound, Euro CAD's pushing up, so we are definitely seeing a strong euro. So if that does keep up, then Euro JPY probably will break through this level. But we still do have 11 hours left before that candle closes, so we'll see what happens there. But yeah, if that momentum does keep up, then Euro JPY should be keeping in this uptrend and should be continuing to the upside there. Yeah, it's a bit of mixed views here for the DXY right now. And yeah, essentially we kind of are moving a little bit sideways, but it's a tricky one because it's either price is just rejecting this resistance here for the DXY, and we're going to sell off the downside, or price is now potentially finding a higher low formation here, and now it's trying to break to the upside. So it just depends what DXY wants to do. If I just zoom out a little bit, you can see here the DXY is also testing this daily trend line here. So if we do respect that trend line, then we could see some upside here for the DXY. And if that's the case, then we could be seeing some nice sell-offs for like Euro USD, Pound USD, AID USD, all those pairs there. But if we do break through the trend line, then yeah, we're going to see a lot more dollar weakness, and euro and all those pairs will probably still be heading to the upside and potentially be having trend reversals as well. So DXY is a little bit tricky here. I think if we clear this resistance, it will make a lot more sense, or clear that support will make a lot more sense, which way we're going to go for the rest of the day or the rest of the week as well. But yeah, DXY kind of just trending between, moving between resistance and support, and with whichever one breaks will probably give us a good indication of where we expect the DXY to go, and where we could look to take the other pairs as well. But yeah, euro's looking strong right now. Pound a little bit weak. You can see Pound USD looking quite weak there as well. Pound JPY kind of just moving sideways. So I'm kind of just not really focusing too much on Pound JPY really, just because the price action is not looking the best right now. But we'll see how that gets on. Do I think EJ will go down? I mean, I'm not too sure about EJ, to be fair. Like I said earlier, it's at a really nice area of resistance here on the daily. The top of that wick to that body there, nice key resistance. This was our previous lower high of the market. Push, pullback, push, potential pullback or reversal, we'll find out. So if it is a pullback, we should be respecting this area. It's okay, we can wick above it. We can have some fake outs as well. That's perfectly fine, that happens all the time. But if we do start to see some strong momentum candles closing above here, it does mean we're breaking through this, and potentially Euro JPY could be on a reversal. I'm not saying shorts won't be good, but yeah, it could be a reversal. So shorts might only be temporary, and the longs might be the better option. But for now, we're still at that level. We're still at this daily level of resistance, and as long as we hold on to that, I think we can sell off. If we do push on, then yeah, Euro JPY will probably continue to the upside a little bit longer. Price action for shorts is not looking great, if I'm being honest with you. We had a nice push up, pull back, push, pull back, and we formed this support here. We've had numerous wicks into that level. Price has been struggling to break through it. So yeah, it's not looking good at all for shorts. especially with that 4H candle closure there. Pushing to the upside. Maybe if we see the momentum change from here and we see the momentum sell off again, something like this, price comes up, stalls at this level here, sells off back into that support, forms a lower high, something like that, and then we can short it back down again or wait for the break and retest of that support. Something like that could be good. But yeah, it's not looking the best for EUR/JPY in my opinion. I'm personally looking to short it. More focusing on Euro/USD to be fair, rather than EUR/JPY. Even though they probably will both work or fail, because again, same pair, Euro and JPY and USD, in terms of strength, they don't differ too much really either. So if Euro/USD is going to sell off, which I'm looking for price to do, then the chances are Euro/JPY will probably sell off as well. Maybe not the same, or maybe even more. But I probably will move in the same direction. So I am looking for sales for EUR/JPY, really nice key level. It's just if we get the price action or not, and right now it's looking bullish. So yes, I think it can sell off if we do hold on to this level, but if we keep pushing through, then we'll probably just continue to the upside a little bit longer, maybe up to the 131 there, nice psychological level. So yeah, EUR/JPY still looking bullish. If we can see a shift in price action, maybe if we can see, because you can see we do have a really strong bullish candle here. If this next candle here closes bearish, maybe at the lows here, so basically just mirrors that bullish candle, that'd be a really nice sign that, yeah, potentially we could move down. But yeah, we're waiting to see if we can get some bearish momentum in first, because if we don't, then EUR/JPY will probably just continue higher. No problem, Chia. No problem, Chia. Happy to help. I mean, look at these pairs helps me as well, because it lets me have a second look at these pairs, just in case if I missed anything. Because there's a lot of times where I do look at pairs for a second and third time, and I see something I didn't see before. Whichever helps me, or stops me from getting a trade that I shouldn't be on, or makes me get into a trade that I should be getting into. So it's always good just to take a second look at things and yeah, and just reanalyze stuff. So yeah, helping me as well by telling me if I can have a look at Euro. But yeah, like I always say, I don't have the crystal ball, so I don't know where these pairs are going. But from what it does look like now, as if we do break through that resistance, then EUR/JPY will continue up. If we can hold on to it, then sales will be looking good. But yeah, there's nothing there right now. USD CAD, we've seen some nice upside there. So again, we've seen some US dollar strength, but also some CAD weakness as well, helping USD CAD push up. It came into this really nice level last week, and I said buys will be looking good from here. We had a nice push up from that level, just about tapped into it, and now we're pushing up. But like I said, for this week, I do have that bearish bias on USD CAD, not because I expect US dollar to be bearish, just because I'm following the price action of this pair here, and we've also broken through this key level, key trend line, sorry, here on the daily time frame. So if I take that across there, you can see we've been respecting this trend line really nicely. We broke through, so as long as this is not a false break, I will be looking to see if we can get some nice sells on the retest of this support. Now term resistance, resistance there, support there, will be resistance over here. So yeah, I'm looking for shorts for USD CAD, which does kind of conflict with the shorts I'm looking for EUR/USD. But essentially what I'm looking for is, if EUR/USD doesn't give me any valid setup, any valid confirmation to get into a trade, and we just continue to the upside like this, then that means that if EUR/USD does that, then USD CAD will give me a nice valid confirmation to get short and take it to the downside. So it's kind of just a flip on both trades really. If EUR/USD doesn't give me anything, then USD CAD will, and same thing for USD CAD. If USD CAD just continues to the upside and just doesn't reject that area and just continues to the upside and stays bullish, then EUR/USD will probably give me some entry here, and I can take it down. I won't take both of them because they contradict each other, but yeah, if one gives me a nice confirmation, the other will just continue, and vice versa. So that's what I'm kind of looking for. Yeah, it just depends. It's also not a bad way to trade it as well. It's a bit like hedging as well, like where you can like buy a pair but also look to sell it if it goes to a certain level. So you don't have to really stress too much whether you're in the right direction or not. You're just looking for the best price action, really. Obviously, I'm not trading the same pair for Euro USD, so I'm not actually hedging it, but I'm kind of playing on the strength and weakness of the DXY, just because I'm not too sure yet of which way I expect it to go. It's at a really nice area where we can see a lot of DXY strength. We're coming into this trend line here. If we do have a bounce, then we could see a really big push to the upside for the DXY, which means Euro USD will see a big move to the downside, and then USD CAD will move up as well. So yeah, I'm just looking to see which way we do break for the DXY, because we're at a nice trend line, respecting it, but when I go onto the 4H, the hourly, you can see price action is not the best. So if we can get above this resistance here, it probably means that we're going to see some DXY strength, which means Euro USD and all those pairs can come down. If not, and we just kind of fluctuate between these two levels, break through that support, break through the trend line as well, then yeah, it means the exact opposite, and that means I can get some nice sells for USD CAD. So I'm just going to wait for one of the two to happen and then make sure I'm there to strike when it happens. But right now I'm only in CAD JPY, looking for sales to the downside, hoping to see if we can actually have a break through this support, which so far it looks like we might get. But yeah, we still got 12 minutes before that candle closes, and you do see a lot of the time in like the last 10 minutes of a candle, you see the candle pull back or push on, because a lot of people get excited and they click sell, click buy, and they don't wait for the candle to close, and then the next thing they see when it does close, it looks completely different to when they actually entered the trade. So I'm not going to get my hopes up too much, but if we can actually have that breakout, that will be great here for CAD JPY, because I'm looking for those sells. Well, I'm in the sell, so I'm looking for a move to the downside, back down to this 87 area, nice psychological level as well. I do think CAD JPY can go further, but I'm being a bit conservative with my take profit, just because it's moving a little bit choppy, and I feel like it could easily come down, form a higher low, and just slowly just push on again. Whereas before, I'll probably be looking to target these lows back here. Probably looking to target these lows back here, but from what I've seen recently, especially with how these pairs are moving, it's better to be safe than sorry. And make sure you bank those partials as well. So yeah, I'm looking for pushing to 87 and see if we can get that breakout. I thought we would have that breakout early on, but it did turn out to be false. We moved sideways overnight really, and now we're seeing another attempt to try and break through that support there. So yeah, if we can break through that support, that's great. If not, we'll just sit the trade out and just see what happens really. And then yeah, the next pair I'm looking to get into, like I said guys, Euro USD, if we can hold on to it, and then potentially USD CAD shorts if we can hold on to that. If not, then I'll just leave the pair alone. Pound USD looks good for shorts as well, but like I said, I want to see a pullback into this area. I'm not sure if we will get that pullback. That's why I'm focusing on Euro USD, because it's a nicer area to short, whereas Pound USD is kind of already kicked on a little bit. So if that's the case, I'll be focusing on getting on Euro USD. But if we can get a pullback, then it might be looking good for shorts later on. But yeah, Pound USD, I have that short bias, looking for push into this level here. But zoom out for you guys, you can see a bit clearer, which is basically this resistance taken across, and looking for that move there. Bitcoin, I have been keeping an eye on Bitcoin. I do analysis on it every week, so yeah, I have been keeping an eye on it. I don't actively trade it. I don't trade Bitcoin, but price action is price action here, and Bitcoin does surprisingly actually follow price action really well. It does really form its structures really well, higher highs, higher lows, on respects levels well as well. So I do like the price action of it, but I don't actually trade it. I mean, yeah, we are seeing a little bit of a sell-off right now, to be fair. If I go in the lower time frames, hourly, you can see, yeah, we are definitely seeing a little bit of a sell-off. I mean, for me, to be fair, because I did say it on my video on the weekend for Bitcoin, we were looking bullish, so I do expect to see a break to the upside. So I did say look for buys on the retest of this area here. You can see we came back, retested it, nice push to the upside. So Bitcoin did go according to plan there for this week. But it has come into a key level of resistance, which I did say again that Bitcoin might respect this level. And again, I know a lot of people who probably would be bearish on Bitcoin will be looking to get involved in shorts around this 53k mark. So you can see really nice support. We didn't come back for the retest, and now we're coming back for the retest finally of that same level after all of that price action, and now we're actually testing it again. So as you can see, we've just about tested it, kind of like a wick there. So it's not really a full-on test, but we've kind of just hit that level around the 53k mark, just underneath 53k, and from there, yeah, we've had a quite aggressive sell-off there for Bitcoin. But Bitcoin does that all the time, really. In my opinion, does have really these aggressive sell-offs just to eventually turn bullish again. You can see here really aggressive sell-offs, really aggressive sell-offs. So it's nothing too scary, and since it's coming into a key level as well, so I can see why we're seeing that. But you know, that always does happen with Bitcoin quite a lot of the time. Wow, I did not know that, to be fair. Yeah, I don't really keep up with fundamentals too much, so yeah, I did not know that at all. I mean, that's especially true with a lot of these cryptos, to be fair. Normally when we do get that big statement or big hype about it, or a rumor or sell off, I mean, it does inject a lot of volatility into the markets here. So yeah, I mean, Elon Musk, I mean, he's definitely been having fun with his Twitter account, definitely with a lot of cryptocurrencies, especially Bitcoin as well. But yeah, I mean, for this one, I mean, I can see why, because of the fundamentals as well, but it does line up with technicals why we are seeing that sell-off as well. But I probably do expect it to continue to the upside, in my opinion. It does look like it's running out of steam, but since it's cleared this level here, which is the level that I did say for the past couple of months now, actually maybe not a couple of months, but actually maybe, yeah, a couple of months now, I have been saying that this level here around 48k, if it does hold, Bitcoin will probably come all the way back down to the 30k mark. But now it's actually broken through. I think Bitcoin might be on its way to the upside. And yeah, I can see a lot more upside for this pair now. I mean, it's not looking good to buy just yet, but because I was looking to see if Bitcoin can come back down to that 40k mark, retest that, and then continue. But I'm not too sure now if Bitcoin will do that, because it's looking so bullish here. So I'm not too sure. But yeah, I'm not too sure if it will do that, but I think maybe if you can retrace back into the previous high low, there'll be some nice buys there, and then we can take it back to the upside. But short-term sell-off, but I don't think in the grand scheme of things it will affect too much for Bitcoin. But that is a big announcement, to be fair, for Bitcoin. Hey, how are you doing? Okay, yes, no problem. I mean, thank you. I mean, if there's any other pairs that you guys are looking at trading, or currently trading, or you got in your watch list, or just want my opinion on, feel free to drop it in the chat as well. We'll take a look at those pairs for you. Give my thoughts on it or whatever. Or if you're looking for my analysis as well, just drop it in the chat and I'll take a look at it for you guys. I mean, yeah, I focus on psychological round numbers as well. Sometimes I do look at the midpoint of those levels. So like, okay, probably not as excessive as you, because you probably look at like a 50k, then maybe like 100k or 75k, something like that. Well, I always take a look at like 53k, 54k, 55k. So I do look at kind of a little bit more in detail. But yeah, big round psychological numbers, they will play important roles in where prices go, where pairs go, because if they can break through them, then sometimes they do act like really nice support. Or you do see a lot of the people with the big money in the markets, they do start to take their profit there. So we do see strong rejection or bounces from those levels. So psychological levels are definitely something to take into account in your trading. They're good take profit levels as well, especially if you're looking at swing trading, look to buy or sell for long term. You can look to aim for a certain psychological level, or look to buy or sell from it, to be fair as well. Euro pound, so yeah, sure thing, we'll take a look at euro pound. Euro pound. So yeah, euro pound, I'm expecting upside for this one. I think we could be seeing a bigger move to the upside for this pair. By the way, what time frame are you looking at euro pound on? Because I know some people do look at different time frames here. We've got some short-term traders here. We've got some long-term traders as well. So what time frame, James, are you looking at for euro pound? Are you looking at the daily high time frames, or you're looking at the 15-minute or whatever? Because I know what time frame to focus on for analysis, but from what I've taken, I feel like you might be more higher time frame. So yeah, I could be looking at the high time frames. I mean, for this one, euro pound, we've broken through this trend line here twice. The first time it turned out to be a false break, and this time it looks like we're actually having the breakout. So I think for euro pound, we could be seeing a lot more upside for this pair. I do think we could be seeing a lot more upside for this pair. Had that false breakout now, and now we've had, I think, could be the actual breakout. So if this price action does keep up, I think euro pound should be coming into these levels up here and levels up here as well. So that's what I'm expecting euro pound to be heading to. On the 4H as well, you can see prices trying to keep up in an uptrend, but it's having a little bit of a tough time. We do have this support here, so I think as long as this support stays intact, we might dip below it, because there is a level just below it here. We might dip below it, but I think essentially if we can hold this level here, then euro pound should be moving to the upside, and potentially even back to 0.686500. Oh, thank you, a new subscriber. Welcome to the family. Thank you for subscribing. Much appreciated. I mean, anyone else want to subscribe, feel free to join the family. Thank you guys. And actually, whilst you're at it, hit the like button, if you want to. I'm not forcing you. But yeah, for euro pound, I can see more upside for this pair here. We've broken through that trend line here for the second time, and it looks like the price action is holding itself. So I think as long as we hold this support intact, we should be pushing up. Or if we do break through this resistance here, had a bit of a false break earlier, but if you can get above it again and start holding as support, I think that would be a very nice place to buy as well, with stops below that support. So resistance broken, now acting as support, and then yeah, look to buy from there. So it depends which one happens for euro pound, but either way, I do have a bias of more upside for this one. I'm expecting more strength in the euro than the pound. So yeah, I think a push into 0.86500 looks good, and then potentially even 0.87 up there, but that might take a week or two for that to happen. But yeah, more upside for euro pound. It does look like we could be getting that soon, actually, if we can break through that resistance. It's close to doing that, especially that momentum. But yeah, more upside for euro pound. Hey Vela, yeah, sure thing. I'll take a look at NZD USD as well. So yeah, NZD USD, another USD pair that's been really been pushing to the upside quite aggressively over the past couple of weeks or so. Again, I've had a bearish bias for this pair for quite some time, mainly because if you do look at the higher time frames, we're going to daily, we've been trending to the downside really nicely. So I've only been looking for sales really for NZD USD, and you've had some really nice trades to the downside. But for this one, with this massive bullish move that we just had here, it's looking like potentially we could be reversing. I mean, if you look at the grand scheme of things, we probably are still bearish, but the immediate trend could be reversing here. So I think NZD USD is looking good for some sells, but because of all that momentum there, I wouldn't hold on to the sells for too long. We do have a really key level of resistance here at 0.70800. As you can see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I've actually broke through it. So I think that's where we're coming back down to retest NZD USD. We might move further than that. We do have all of this area that potentially price might come back down into. There's multiple levels there. Price could at the target. We've got 0.7, nice psychological level there as well. We could probably tap into. But yeah, right now I'll probably say NZD USD more downside for this pair. If we can see price come up one more time, because it looks like potentially here we just formed our first lower high potentially. So we've got a high there, lower high there as well. So I think if you can pull back, form another one, so from that third lower high, that 3 drives, 1, 2, 3, and then we can short it back down into these level here, and then if you can get a break into that level there as well. I'll probably look to take profit on this one, get stop loss to break even if we do get into it, and price does push in that direction, just because we have all of this momentum here, and price might just want to fall to the downside just a little bit and then really continue. So don't want to hold on to these sales for too long, like I said, but at the same time, sales do look good because in the larger time frames are still pointing down, like in the weekly, the monthly, but daily we're looking quite bullish, taking out that previous high. So I think first target's definitely got to be this level here with that resistance now turning support. Then if you can break through that, then maybe you could be looking at a move into this level here. Bit aggressive, a little bit though. We could look at some other levels slightly higher up, but I think this has got to be the first level to look at, around 0.70900, just below 0.71, and then potentially 0.69700 down there. So yeah, I'm seeing more downside for NZD USD. So we've got our lower high there, so it'd be nice to see if we can retrace for another third lower high and then short it into these levels there, then potentially those levels down there as well. So that's what I'm expecting for NZD USD. Like I said, I'm expecting some strength in the DXY, so I'm looking for those shorts on like Euro USD, everything. Euro USD just gave a really nice close there for Euro USD. In fact, that is a really nice close there to the downside. So yeah, I'm expecting more downside now. Let's take a look at the DXY. Yeah, DXY as well, closing above there. Again, not the best place because we have closed above it previously. We have closed above it previously and come straight back down. But it's the key if we hold this as support. Now if you can hold that support, then that would that would be the catalyst, I think, for a big move to the upside for the DXY, because previously here when we did close to the upside, we're kind of fluctuating, broke to the downside, whereas here if we can come down, hold that, then I think more upside for the DXY. So yeah, I'm firmly holding that bias to the upside now for the DXY. Obviously we can still come back down, but the arrows are pointing to the upside here, breaking above that level. I think a 4H close above this level here for the DXY will probably cement things. We've got about 55 minutes for that candle to close. So if that can close above there, because in an hour's time, a lot can happen in an hour's time of trading. But if we can close above there, I think DXY back up to these levels here. Really nice support, term resistance around 92,500. So I think DXY back up to back up to 92,500, and if you can break that, then back into this resistance here as well. So I think, yeah, that's where DXY I can see it going, because remember guys, it's also come back down into this daily trend line here as well, 1 2 3, and if you look at the larger structure of things, you pull back, and we have this push, pull back, push, pull back, push, you know, potentially a pullback to another push. So that could be in the cards for the DXY. So yeah, I think if we can get that close, you know, we might really storm off actually. But yeah, more upside for the DXY. Let's see how my position is doing. CAD JPY. Okay, CAD JPY is looking good here. So I'm currently in sales for this position here. I was in sales for this one yesterday, looking for the break of this support to come back into these levels here. Actually, this is my target, not that target there. This is my target here for the trade. I was expecting price to break through it yesterday, but we failed to do so. We kind of just moved sideways yesterday. Well, when I got in, when we got in, we had this nice false break to the upside, so it was looking good because we had that nice liquidity grab to the upside there of that wick, and then the momentum came through, so that's why I got in. Stops with above that wick, and then I was expecting price to now just go right through that support, but again it failed to do so. A little bit of a false break, it came back up against me. Was consolidating throughout the rest of the day / overnight as well, so I wasn't having too much confidence in the trade after that, just because it's failing to break through my key area. But now with that strong close there, as long as this next candle doesn't close straight back above, we should be seeing a really nice breakout to the downside. So again, my first area of partials is this area here, 87,250. So if you can get to 87,250 or around that area, I will be looking to lock in some partials here for CAD JPY, because I still do have to respect that the fact that we do have, you know, a bullish trend here in the market, and I'm taking a counter trend move. I know I'm trading in the direction of the larger trend of the market, which is to the downside, but the immediate trend does take more strength than the larger trend when you're trading on the lower time frames, like the hourly, 15-minute and whatnot. So I do have to respect that trend there. So yeah, I will be looking at partials at that level, and then exiting down there. But yeah, CAD JPY is looking good. CAD CHF is looking good as well. This one I'm expecting a big move to the downside for CAD CHF. It's looking like it could be coming up. It's moved into this resistance here. So I was looking for shorts yesterday for CAD CHF as well. I was looking shorts for CAD CHF, but I didn't get involved because I got involved in CAD JPY. So don't want to trade two CADs at one time just in case something happens. But yeah, if we can get some nice pullbacks on CAD CHF, and if I can get CAD JPY to break even or to that first take profit area, then I will be looking at getting involved in some shorts in CAD CHF as well. Yeah, that's very true as well, James, as well. Because yeah, the people with you know, the real money in the market, see, they won't be looking at, you know, small time frames, 15-minute, 5-minute stuff. They'll be focusing on, you know, key areas where price reverses, key psychological, you know, round points where they can focus on putting their positions on. So yeah, that's definitely something to look at, psychological levels. And I've only started looking at it recently, to be fair, within the past, probably say 4 or 5 months. So it's a fairly recent concept to me, but I have been using it for the past, you know, few months, and it does look to be paying off a lot well, because I do like to target levels and then see if a psychological level lines up with the level I'm looking to target, and if it's slightly below or slightly after, I can alternate my level a little bit. But yeah, I do take into account psychological levels quite a lot where I'm looking to take profit or enter my trades. But yeah, I think DXY is looking good for more upside. Euro USD is looking bearish here. Pound USD, yeah, Pound USD is really flying to the downside. So that's what I was saying, guys. That even though I want to sell Pound USD, I think you've just missed that one because, yeah, it kind of came from up here, and that was at 3 a.m. for me. I mean, I don't know where you guys are in the world, but I'm in the UK, so you know, this is 2 a.m, 3 a.m GMT, and I'm fast asleep. I don't know if you guys are in Asia, because you might be awake then, because that is the Asian session. But yeah, I'm asleep then, so I've kind of missed that trade there, and I was looking for price to come back up one more time, but it just doesn't look like it's going to do that. So yeah, it looks like Pound USD is really kicking in. That means DXY is really kicking into the upside. So yeah, oh well, I mean, won't catch them all. But yeah, Pound USD is looking very, very bearish there. And USD CAD imagine looking bullish. So yeah, like I said, guys, USD CAD's come into here, and I said it'll be a nice area to look to sell from, only if you do see some bearish price action. So far it's still bullish, and if price action does keep up that, then yeah, I won't be touching it. But if it shows me something, then yeah, I will be touching it. But right now I think is that if the DXY does have a strong close above here on the 4H, which it looks like it potentially might do, then yeah, I'm not going to get involved in sales for the USD CAD there. USD CHF still moving sideways. USD JPY is still trying to push up. That's why USD JPY is a little bit of a funny pair, to be fair, because USD and JPY often do have similar strength, so they do tend to consolidate, move a little bit sideways. So yeah, that's why I do trade USD/JPY, but not as much as like Euro USD. So that's definitely probably my favorite pair to trade: Euro USD, Pound USD. Those are probably my two best pairs, and probably the two most common pairs traded, to be fair. And they probably are for a reason, not just lower spreads, but because the way they move as well. I mean, that's all right, Chia. You're not always going to enter every single trade. I mean, Pound USD. To be fair, during the Asian session, I mean, I did have that bearish bias, but you know, whether getting in on that, I'm not too sure. You know, if we had a bit more rejection there, because obviously this is planned just to be the lower high of the market. Maybe that wick would have made a lot more sense. But yeah, I mean, it's fine. Just because it happened in the Asian session doesn't mean you have to enter, or you know, be entered the trade. But do I check? No. I'll probably say I check them more often than that. I'll probably say every hour or 2 hours. I'll probably say I check the charts. But it depends if I'm looking to get into a trade, or if I'm already in a trade. If I'm already in a trade, then I'll probably say every 2 hours, maybe 4 hours, if I'm being strict and patient. But if I'm like got a pair that is on my watch list and could be forming up quite soon, then yeah, I'll be looking at the chart every hour probably, to see if I can get into that opportunity. But if there's nothing really happening in the charts and I've already got a trade and all I'm doing is managing it, then yeah, it might be every 2 hours or every 4 hours. So yeah, I'll probably say probably my average is probably 2 hours. But if I'm looking for a trade, 1 to 2. If I'm not and I'm just managing trade, then 2 to 4. I mean, yeah, I'm in the same boat for you as that one as well. The way I trade, I do like to trade with more confirmation as well. So I do find that a lot of trades, not a lot of trades, probably say about, because I do have, because the way I trade, I look for you know, key levels, key areas of supply and demand, or you know, potentially areas where price might reverse or continue. and I look for those areas. So say for like pound USD, you know, this area here, a really nice area of resistance, massive dump to the downside. So in my head, I know pound USD gets here, I'm looking to sell the market. So that's like step one. And then I look for get my confirmations, and not always, you know, that happens. Sometimes price just taps an area and just flies off without any, you know, sign of any confirmation or any pullback really. So there is probably about, I'd say about 30% of the time that does happen, where price gets in the area that I'm looking at, like USD CAD last week as well, which is really really sums up my point really, because USD CAD, I was looking at two levels to buy at USD CAD last week. This was the first level, and then this was the second level here last week, and then you can see we tapped into it just about. We came up there, the market closed. I was looking for price to come back down, retest it for that double bottom, but we formed a higher low overnight and then just pushed to the upside there quite aggressively. So I didn't really get my confirmation, even though, you know, the market's done what I expected it to do essentially, which is reject that support back down there at 1.25. So yeah, that does happen from time to time for me as well, for a lot of pairs, and also it happens again because some of the opportunities, some of the trades that I had to take happen during the Asian session, which I'm asleep for as well. So I don't always get an entry because you know, I'm asleep for it. So even though there is a confirmation, but I'm not awake for that confirmation. So yeah, it's just about balancing everything, to be fair, and that's why I don't really focus on one pair or like two pairs specifically, because I know a lot of traders will like, okay, I only trade these 4 pairs, I only trade these 3 pairs. There's nothing wrong doing that. You know, if that's the best for you, then yeah, recommend that. Go bizarre on that. But for me, I like to have, you know, quite a wide range of pairs that I trade and just create a watch list out of them. So I got like, I don't know, about 20 to 25, something like that. I don't even know. Definitely in the high 20s, maybe even 30 pairs that I trade, but on my watch list is only like 3 or 4. So out of those, you know, 25, 30 pairs, I condense it down to 3 and 4 and just look for opportunities on those 3 and 4 based on the price action that I've seen. And sometimes I get confirmations during the Asian session, sometimes I might not even get confirmation. So yeah, it's definitely out of my control, and that's what I have to accept. I'm not always going to get a confirmation, I'm not always going to be awake for the trade, but I just have to make sure that when I'm awake, I'm there to take it, and when there's a confirmation, I'm there to take it as well. But yeah, I'm definitely the same boat. Can see gold, yeah, sure thing. Yeah, so gold's looking quite bearish, coming into a nice area of support. We've recently just respected that resistance really nicely this week. So again, we had a really nice range here, probably about 3-4 weeks ago now. We had really nice support and resistance there. Price was consolidating between those two levels. We've broken back into that range recently, and we just tapped that resistance there. I believe as the market closed last week, and we've had a really aggressive move to the downside from there. So the structure for gold is still bullish. You can still see the higher highs and higher lows, so we do have to respect that. And now we're coming back into that previous support which we did hold from last week. So I think gold could be looking good for some buys, but the momentum is very, very bearish right now. So we do need to see the market shift, you know, back to the bulls here. And I think some buys back up to 1820, which is this resistance, could be a really nice trade. So again, short-term long trade there for gold, because I think we could probably push down through this level and back into this level here. But for now, I think we can see a nice bounce to the upside, maybe back into this level here, short it back down again. But with all this momentum, we do need to wait for some confirmation, because if that momentum does maintain, we'll probably break through this support and continue down further. If that's the case, then the next level I'll be looking to see if there's any valid setups at is this level down here. Really nice support coming across here. and looking to see if price can come back, respect it again. So that's what I'll be looking at for gold. This is the main level that I'm looking at. I'm not really too interested in the short-term trade there, but I know some people will be looking at gold for the short-term trades. So I think a move from this level here back up to there will be a nice trade there. But again, we do have to wait for the shift in momentum, because with all of this dump to the downside, I know we do need to see price spring back to the upside, but it doesn't have to do that now. It can push down further before it does see some upside. So do make sure, wait for some confirmation, especially for all that momentum. But I think we can see a push back up to 1820, and then from there we might turn bearish again to the downside, because again that's a quite aggressive sell-off there as well. And if I go on the daily quickly, you can see, the last time we had a sell-off from that level, we had this massive dump to the downside all the way down there. So I'm not saying that's going to happen again, but it does have a lot of significance, that level, and we are respecting it right now really nicely. So longs do look good, but make sure you're patient. And I think a move back to 1820 does look good. So if you can hold on to that area, 1810, back up to 1820, then probably some opportunity to sell it back down again after that. So yeah, that's what I'm favoring for gold. Let me take a look at the fundamentals for this week. So I haven't taken a look at the news yet this week. Okay, so we already had some Euro news coming out at 10 a.m. earlier this morning, so that's already been and done. But yeah, for the rest of the day, there isn't really much news. Everything low impact. Tomorrow, we have some Euro news again, 9 a.m. GMT. Then we have a bit of CAD later on at 3. But yeah, it's nothing too nerve-wracking really so far early this week. I mean, the CAD might cause a little bit of movement, but besides that, okay, yeah, on Wednesday it does pick up again, but no, Thursday, sorry, it picks up again. But for today, tomorrow, it should be relatively calm for most of the pairs. So that's a good thing, because the past couple of weeks, we've had news event after news event, and it's really it's really impacted the markets quite aggressively. So it's good to see we can rely a bit more on price action this week. AUD short setting up on the 4H. Let's take a look. Okay, AUD is a bit like my arch nemesis, to be fair, because every time I trade this pair, it just consolidates. So I haven't really traded it in a long time. I mean, I know I say it just consolidates, but right now it's having a massive fall to the downside. So that's a little bit ironic there, but yeah, AUD is trending to the downside really nicely. I do have to admit that. And it's really nicely respecting that resistance just after a nice false break to the upside. You can see that wick to the upside there. Again, taking out a lot of liquidity above those areas. People's stop losses and whatnot, and now it's coming down with all that momentum, which is also a good thing after the false break, because sometimes people do get in a little bit too early because they see a massive wick and they're like, oh, false break, and they get short or long. But the important thing to see is the momentum after that, because if there's no momentum, then it really hasn't it kind of taken out people's stop losses, but it might still just continue to the upside. When you're seeing the momentum now, it does mean that we've got that liquidity, so we can really see that the momentum change to the downside. So with that momentum there, it's looking really good for more downside for AUD. Again, especially if the market already being really bearish, we're most likely going to have a move back down into these lows here. It has been trending to the downside for some time, so I don't expect to see a massive move. We could even be moving to these lows here. I wouldn't be surprised if that does happen, because we have been consolidating for quite some time, and now it could be time for the market to relieve itself, so we could be seeing a big move to the downside there. But for now, I think more downside back down to this area, 1.03500 does look good there. So If that momentum does keep up, we are coming into this support, so the kind of the last barrier, break through that support, then it should be you know, all green signs ahead. I don't really know the saying. What's the saying? Is it all green lights? I don't know. Yeah, we'll say it. We'll just work with that. It'll be green lights to the downside. But yeah, I do agree there. AUD back down to 1.03500. Oh, a fellow Londoner. Nice to see that. I'm interested to find out where you guys are from. So, you know, if you feel like it or you want to, you know, drop a little comment saying where you're from. Because we've got Chia from Cambodia, which is, you know, very interesting because, yeah, I've never spoken to or met anyone from Cambodia. So yeah, if you're from a more exotic place than Cambodia, then, you know, feel free to let us know down in the comments. But yeah, nice to see a fellow Londoner as well. Love from Nigeria, big up. I'm from Nigeria as well. Well, my heritage is from Nigeria. I'm born and raised in London, but my dad's fully Nigerian. I'm half Nigerian, half Zambian. But yeah, born and raised in London. Yeah, so CAD JPY is looking good finally. I hope we can just stay below that support there. But besides from that, yeah, CAD JPY is looking good to the downside, and especially, you know, the key thing to look for is the momentum. Where's the momentum? Momentum is definitely with the bears, so it means that, you know, I'm most likely in the right direction here. Obviously, something can happen and we could just see a massive bullish candle, but for now, momentum is firmly with the bears. So all I have to do is just make sure I monitor the trade well, look to see if we can get into that area there, take my partials, maybe stop loss to break even, and then see if we can make it into that second area. Yeah, sure thing. Yeah, Euro USD do have the sell bias in this one. Like I said, if you stay below this area, I do see the market selling off, and so far, especially with that candle closure, is looking good for this one. It is coming back into an area of support, so if you can see on the 50-minute, maybe one more push up and then come back down again. But besides that, I think Euro USD is heading to the downside for this pair. Yeah, I really expect a nice fall because pound USD is really already giving us that fall to the downside. And I think it's only just a matter of time before Euro USD does similar price action to that and really starts to see some nice aggressive sell-offs here. So I'm expecting a move to the downside for Euro USD. Targets for this one is 1.18, which is over here. Which is that resistance now turned support, so that's what I'm expecting price to head to for Euro USD. It might go further, it might not as well. But yeah, I think 1.18 looks good, and I think this is our lower high here. This is the lower high of the market. So yeah, that's what I said. As long as price can stay below this, then only sells back down to 1.18. And yeah, gold, like I said, for gold, buys are looking potentially good. The reason why I say potentially good is because it's at a nice level, but whether it holds it or not, you know, is another question. If it doesn't hold it, then buys, yeah, definitely won't be looking good, and we might be moving back down to 1796, because I do expect to see DXY, you know, push push up to 92,500. And we know the correlation between the DXY and gold. If DXY decides to push up, then more often than not, you do see gold push down, so they're inversely correlated. So if DXY is going to move up, which I'm expecting it to do so, then I should be expecting gold to do the opposite and fall to the downside. But right now, gold's at a really nice support, where if we can hold on to it, it will be some nice buys there. But again, like I said, with all this momentum here, we do have to wait for those confirmations, maybe a double bottom, something like that. Some extra confirmation would be nice, just to be a bit more confident with these buys, because from my experience, when I'm going up against momentum like that, most of the time it does not end well. So make sure you wait for that confirmation, wait for price to really reject this support. It would be nice to get some wicks like this, wicks like that would be great. But yeah, if you can hold on to 1810, back up to 1820, if we break through, then I think gold could be coming back down to 1796, and that would make sense if DXY does push up to 92,500. So it's not looking good for buyers just yet. It's at a nice level, and if we can hold on to that, then yes, back up to 1820. If not, leave gold alone. Or if you want to do the break and retest option, that could be something there. If it breaks through, retest it, holds as resistance, that could be a nice opportunity. But if you're not looking at that, then yeah, I'll probably leave gold alone. So if buys do present themselves, then yeah, back up to 1820. If not, and it stays bearish, leave gold alone. Then the next place I will be looking for buys is back down there at 1796 to take that back again to the upside. So that's the plan that I have for gold there. Euro CHF, what's happened on Euro CHF? Yeah, Euro CHF is dropping nice. I mean, pound CHF is dropping a lot better, I bet, because pound's weaker. Yeah, pound CHF has really just gone, I'm going to fall right now. It has fallen really, really aggressively. I mean, pound CHF, I was looking for sales for this one, I have to admit. At the start of the week, it was on my watch list, but pretty much throughout Monday, it was a bit choppy. Then we did see a little momentum late in the day, but I was like, yeah, I'm not a fan of that at all. So I just didn't really pay much attention to it. And then overnight, it's picked up speed. And then this morning, it's really, really pushed off. So yeah, like I said, pound CHF, pound USD are really showing the momentum to the downside. But I can see Euro USD just catching up with pound USD and doing the exact same thing once it finds a little bit of weakness, because Euro is a little bit strong this morning. So when Euro loses that strength, I think we're just going to see the exact same thing happening as we're seeing for pound USD. This nice dump to the downside. I think Euro USD would do the exact same thing, and same thing with Euro CHF as well. I think Euro CHF will slowly catch up with pound CHF. So yeah, if we do see some pullbacks, then yeah, I think go ahead, look for those shorts. We do have nice resistance here as well. That would have been a nice place to get short at. If we do see something like this, lower high, then back down again, that will look like a good sell, because look, Euro CHF, big move to the upside, not much retracements, coming back into key level on the daily with all those wicks, nice plummet to the downside. You can at least expect to see some type of reaction from this level. I'm not asking the market to come all the way back down to these lows here. It could do, but I'm not going to ask the market to do that. Just looking for a slight reaction, from the market, maybe back down to this area here, or 1.08, which is nice level there as well. So just looking for one of those two levels, and I think if you can get that retracement, get it on the lower time frames, hourly great, 50-minute even better, really maximize the risk to reward. But yeah, more downside for Euro CHFs at a key level. It doesn't look like it's going to break through, and I think we're just going to catch up with pound CHF when we do see some weakness in the euro. No problem, Samir, happy to help. William, yeah, sure thing, another William on the channel, love to see that. Pound JPY, yeah, we'll take a look at that. So yeah, I haven't really looked at pound JPY too much this morning. Main reason because price is a little bit choppy. But yeah, it does look like we are seeing some downside, because pound is weak. Pound is definitely weak. But yeah, pound JPY, like I said on my weekly analysis, this one does look good for shorts. We have come into this key level in the daily chart, so you can see here resistance there, Nice reaction to the downside. Nice reaction to the downside. Haven't really respected it too much across here. We did respect a little bit there support, but now we're stalling there a little bit. And I think if we can hold on to 152, we could see some nice downside here for pound JPY. Because if you do look at the higher time frames, you know, the market is showing us a nice bearish trend there. So looking for sales, you can't really go too wrong with that if you do stick it through. So I think pound JPY sells back down to this level does look good here. Back into that resistance, just to act as support again, because it did act as support towards the end of last week for this move up. So just looking for price to come back down into that area around 151,500. It might push through that back down to this area here as well. But like I said earlier, guys, let's not be too aggressive with our targets, because I know I do have a habit of doing that. But yeah, pound JPY is looking a little bit bearish right now. So there's either kind of two options you could be looking at. There's the break and retest option, because we do have this support here, which looks like price is breaking through. So wait for that candle to close. Still got about 24 minutes to close. It could still pull back up if it wanted to. So do make sure you wait for candle closure, guys. Very, very important for that. So if you do get candle closure like this, if you can pull back, retest that, then some sales back down to that area would look great, around 151,450. Or if you see a bit more retracement, you can wait for a retest of this resistance up here. Again, a less likely option because we really are pushing down. But if that does happen, then sells back down into 151,450. So it just depends what pound JPY wants to do. But despite that, my bias is to the downside. I'm expecting more downside for pound JPY. So 151,450 is where I'm expecting price to go. You know, it could just fall to the downside. Really, it doesn't have to pull back because it has had a lot of consolidation. And normally when we do break out consolidation, it's normally very aggressive. So we might not have that retest. If we do, happy days. Could be a nice retest entry there to the downside. If not, we might push up a little bit, retest this level here, then fall. So it just depends what pound JPY wants to do, but nonetheless, more downside for this pair. Let's take a look at Euro JPY, because yeah, Euro JPY again, it's not moving as well because it has pound JPY. Very similar, very similar pairs, but you can see pound JPY compared to Euro JPY, you know, it's looking completely different. Looks like Euro JPY wants to push up, whereas pound JPY you know, is pushing down, and that's just the strength of the euro right now. So that's why I said, you know, Euro USD and Euro CHF, I can see a lot more downside for these pairs, but because euro is a bit strong this morning, we need to wait for euro to see some weakness, and then when euro does see some weakness, I think it would just catch up with the pound USD, catch up with pound CHF. Where is pound CHF? Yeah, catch up with pound CHF, which is really falling right now. So yeah, I think that will happen soon come. We do have some news announcements for euro tomorrow morning, so that could be the catalyst for that weakness, or it might just happen on its own today. We'll find out. But yeah, I think they will catch up. So like I said, on that retest or pull back up there, but it might not happen because it's really looking very bearish and it might just fall. But if it does retrace, again, that'll be a nice entry for that. USD CAD still looking very bullish here, coming into that key level. So like I said, guys, you know, if USD CAD continues looking bullish, then I just won't sell. You know, the main way I trade, I look at key areas in the market, key levels, places where the market can reverse, not necessarily a reversal of trend, but just reverse, you know, its current direction from bullish to bearish or bearish to bullish. So you can clearly see here the immediate trend for USD CAD is down. So, you know, looking for that reversal of that bullish momentum there to come back down again is what I'd be looking for. But if it stays bullish and breaks through that level, then I'm not going to touch it and just let USD CAD do what it wants to do. If it does change bearish, then yeah, sure thing, I'll get involved. But yeah, right now it's looking very bullish. If you take a look at the DXY, you know, we're seeing a lot of strength in the DXY right there. And I said if the 4H gets a strong candle closure above this level, which it does look like it will do, it's in about 20 minutes left. So we'll wait to see what happens in those 20 minutes. But if we can keep that up, it most looks like that will get a closure above that level there. And then yeah, I will be looking at DXY back up to 92,500, which means a lot more weakness. take a look at AU. So yeah, AU is looking very bearish here. I know Chia was looking to get involved with some shorts for this one this morning, but yeah, it's just one of them ones where if you haven't got in, up there, you might not get an entry. Of course, we can still pull back, but we're asking a lot for the market to pull back now after seeing this momentum and potentially DXY break into the upside. But yeah, it's just looking very bearish right now. NZD/USD, we were looking at this one earlier as well. That one's still looking bearish, so yeah, I'm still expecting a push back down into that level. It would be nice to see a pullback back up there, but yeah, I'm not too sure if we will. There's also the option on the break and retest of this level here. We broke and we retested, so you can look to get short on that. But I'm not the biggest fan of break and retest. I do have to admit. Yeah, no problem, William. Happy to help with that analysis, and that goes for everyone else. If you want me to take a look at a pair that you're looking at, or yeah, essentially a pair that you're looking at, feel free to let me know. Or if you're in any trades as well, feel free to let me know. Sharing is caring. We'll take a look at it together, guys. But yeah, I'm not really the biggest fan of break and retest, so that's not really a setup that I look to take. Not that I don't expect to see NZD/USD move down, it's just that I don't really, I'm the biggest fan of break and retest. I like taking it when the market is pulled back into a resistance and formed a lower high, rather than breaking through a low and then taking it on that break of that low. I just have a higher success rate when that happens rather than break and retest. So I'm kind of just not trading break and retest at the moment. Not saying they don't work, because I know there probably is people out there just exclusively trade break and retest, but for me, yeah, it's just not my best option. Yeah, sure thing. Yeah, even if I have covered it, guys, don't worry if I have covered it. But yeah, AU, yeah, AU still looking bearish here. On my weekly analysis, if you guys haven't checked that out, feel free to do so. It's on my channel now. But yeah, my weekly analysis for AU, I said more downside for this pair from this level here, which is basically this resistance, that support, nice level of resistance, and mainly because AU's had a massive run to the upside, and it is time now to see some retracement now for AU, just because we've seen all that momentum and it's now time to retrace. We could turn bullish for AU, we could really push on to levels up there, but we're not really interested in that right now. Like I said for AU, I said I want to see some retracement to get into some sells, because we've had that push up. Now I'm looking for those sells, even though it's kind of really happened overnight for me at 2 a.m. And now we're dumping to the downside. So I was speaking to Chia earlier, saying if we can have that pullback, then we'll be looking for sells, but I'm not too sure if we will get a pullback, or a pullback that substantial, because the momentum is definitely with the bears, and especially when we've had such a bullish trend. Normally when we do see these markets reverse, it's normally quite aggressive as well, in the opposite direction. Might not give us a pullback. It well could do so, and if it does, we'll be getting ready for that, making the most out of that. But if it doesn't, the next trade is always around the corner. But yeah, AU, I can see more downside for this pair. As for targets, it's really coming into like the first target, which is this area here, 0.73800. It's already coming into that area, so we definitely want to see that pullback. Don't really want to short into that, but if we do break through that as well, then I think we could be coming back down to 0.73200, which is basically all of this support. Will be turned support again. So I can see more downside for AU. If we can break through this level, then potentially that level there as well. But like I said, we want to see that pullback happen first regardless, so it doesn't really matter where price will go if we're not in the trade. We can't make the most out of those pips. But yeah, looking for that pullback. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But regardless, I'm expecting more downside for AU. And yeah, more upside for the DXY, because it looks like it's holding on to this trend line over here, this daily trend line. And again, not even though we're seeing this nice bullish momentum from the trend line, price could still push up into that level there, move that level there, and come right back down and break through that trend line, and just give us a higher low and just sell off again. So just because we're having that bounce doesn't mean that DXY is coming all the way back to these highs. It could do that if it wanted to, but just because that trend line is getting bounced, so don't have or don't marry the bullish DXY bias too much, because it could change very, very quickly. I could have the bullish bias today, and then by Wednesday, I could be saying, guys, DXY looks like it's coming down, get ready to buy Euro USD and the other pairs. So don't marry too much in that bias, because it can change, and it's very, very good being flexible, especially in this line of business, because things can change quickly. But like I said, I want to see the 4H close above this level. It's got 14 minutes, probably will, but we'll see. And if it does close, I think longs back up to 92,500. So that means Euro USD back down again, back down to 1.18. Again, Euro USD is having a tough time trying to break through that support. Pound USD, that one's already flying anyway, so we're not getting that pullback. Still could get a pullback, but we've just missed really some of the move, that's all. Pound CHF's looking great there. CAD CHF's definitely a pair that I was looking to trade this week. I got into CAD JPY instead. But I think CAD CHF is still looking good for more selling opportunities. I think we can come back into this area here, 0.72 150, which is this level here. So tomorrow we'll be looking to see if we can get a pullback, because I think for today I've kind of already missed that move. Anyway, we could still see some upside, and understand that we still got about 11 hours or 10 hours or whatever it is before today's candle closes. But I think with all this momentum here, we've definitely missed the move for the day. So I would like to see if we can have that pullback for the rest of the day, stroke overnight, and then London session tomorrow, look to see if we can form a lower high somewhere, maybe in line with this level here. Come back into this resistance, form a lower high around there maybe, and then we'll be looking to short this back down into 0.722 down there. But I'll probably want to see if CAD JPY can get to break even first. If that happens, because I'll be in two CAD pairs at that point if I do get into those sells, and I think we do have CAD news tomorrow as well, so it's not the best idea to be in two CAD trades with CAD news coming out. So that's definitely not the place you want to be in. Hey, welcome to the family. Thank you for subscribing, much appreciated, guys. Thank you for joining. It does mean a lot to me. Good morning, Namzi. How are you doing? Welcome back to the stream. Hope you are doing well. Chill, in the same boat then, because I'm waiting for that to happen for CAD CHF as well. Price was squeezing here for quite a long time, and more often than not, you do normally see the price release this pressure quite aggressively, and I'm looking for that pullback to the upside, and I will be looking to see if we can ride that back down to the start of that wedge, which is around 0.722. I do realize we could go a lot further if price really wants to dump to downside, depending how weak CAD is, so we could go further. But I think for me, if we can see a pullback, a push down to the 0.72 looks like a great trade move itself. So won't pay too much attention if price does push on. But I think in the same boat for you, Chia. I'm looking at the same trade, really just waiting to see if you can get that pullback to come down to the downside. Hopefully you can get that by tomorrow, or maybe tomorrow evening, maybe tomorrow London or tomorrow New York. Hopefully you can get that. But CAD CHF, and I think same for pound CHF as well. Pound CHF was a little bit more choppy, but I think we trace what we were looking for, and then we can get involved in those setups. USDJPY still trying to push up. USDCHF, such a dodgy pair recently, but like I said, as long as it stays below that trend line, below that resistance, then I do see the market selling off to the downside here. USD CAD still looking very, very bullish. If you're going to hold on to that level, I do see some nice sales, but yeah, it's not looking good because CAD is looking really, really weak. USD is looking potentially might be strong. So if CAD's weak, USD strong, it's not good to sell USD CAD, really, is it? So yeah, I'll probably be backing off USD CAD a little bit, but if price action is price action, if it does give me some good thing, then I will be trading to my plan and looking to short USD CAD. But if nothing's there, obviously I'll leave it alone. Yeah, DXY still trying to keep his head above that level. We'll see if it happens. Euro USD still failing to break through that support there, as you can see. But again, like I said, guys, on the lower time frames for the 15-minute for Euro USD, a little bit of a pullback. If it can form a lower high, then I think that's just another excuse to get into some shorts to the downside. Because I'm expecting a nice sell-off for Euro USD, and yeah, Pound USD is already doing that. Okay, you're swinging ADCHF. Let's take a look at ADCHF. Nice, because we had that nice sell-off there. I mean, yeah, just stick to your plan, Namzi. I mean, wherever your targets are, wherever your partials. I mean, I think you do take partials, don't you? Because if you don't, might think about taking partials, because that could help with the need to take the profit. But yeah, I mean, where you are right now, you look at a great area to look for sales here. This is a very strong resistance. We've poked our heads above it, which is also another good thing, because it shows that people would either be taken out for stop losses, also people looking for the buys on the break and retest of that level. So you got two batch of people there would have been taken out by this trade, and in the right direction as well, because of all this momentum that we're seeing here to the downside. Of course, that momentum could change, but right now, the momentum's there. As long as you bank in partial, because we have come back into this support here, which is probably the first place that potentially AUDCHF could look to turn bullish, even though I probably wouldn't expect it to, but it is a place that AUDCHF could turn bullish, so I'll probably look to take partials there. And besides from that, I'll probably let the trade run a little bit. I mean, if I was you, I probably wouldn't target the lows all the way down there, just because even though it well could get to those lows, it's just that it might not be good for your psychology, and it might not be good for your emotions, because to see that trade from up there to there takes a lot of strength, a lot of emotional strength, and it will be difficult to do, and you don't want to put too much stress on yourself. So yeah, even a move into this support will be a bit of a push as well. So just make sure you take in partials, and wherever you've got your take profit, respect that take profit, because that's the plan, and all you have to do is just repeat that plan over an extended period of time, and you should be coming out on top. So yeah, wherever your take profit is, make sure you got some partials in there to keep you under control, and make sure that you're paying yourself as well. But besides from that, it looks like a good trade. Spike to the upside, the momentum's come back for the bears. I think we could see a move to the downside here, maybe back down to 0.67 could be a nice area that we could push into. Hello Rex, how are you doing? Hope you are doing well. Guys, I still do have about 5-6 minutes left of the stream, so if you want to do any last minute pairs you want me to look at, just drop it in the chat and I'll take a look at it for you. Thank you, Akin. Thank you, bro. Yeah, so currently in this CAD JPY position since yesterday. I put it on my put it on my Telegram channel yesterday. So if you haven't checked out my channel, my what did I just say there? If you haven't checked out my Telegram yet, feel free to do so. It's on my it's in the description below, and also if you scroll up to the top of the chat, it's there as well. So feel free to check out the Telegram. I post trading opportunities there. Feel free to take them. We can take them in the demo account. But yeah, it's just ideas that I post for potential trade ideas. Okay, sure thing. GER30. Okay, so let's clear the chart. Okay, so for this pair, okay, so we haven't really moved too much last time I looked at this pair. We're kind of just forming support here, which is essentially the resistance there now forms as support, and we're just respecting that. Yesterday we closed with a nice bullish candle there to the upside, so momentum looks like it's pushing back into the bulls. So I would expect to see this pair continue to the upside. I think either two areas you could be looking at for potential buys at this area here, or price comes back down to these lows here. So I think look for buys here, back into the highs probably, which is up there, and I think buys from this level here back into the highs, or this level here back into the highs again. You'd have to look for the whole swing, but maybe a swing from this level back into that level, wait for a pullback and get back in and buy it back up again. That could be a nice opportunity. But yeah, like I said, buys are looking good, especially with that daily close yesterday, really confirming that momentum to the upside there. So I think I'll look to see what happens in this area, look for a little bit more downside, see if you can hold on to that, double bottom, something like that, and then yeah, more upside back into those highs up there. Or if we do push back through that level, look to see what happens here, and then yeah, buys back up again, essentially because the trend and the higher time frames is to the upside. The momentum is to the upside as well. It looks like we're forming a higher low here as well, especially with those wicks. And then we've got a really strong close there to the upside on the daily. So we know the higher time frame momentum's to the upside. So all we're waiting here for the market to finish that pullback and look for those buys. And either the pullback's going to be at this level or that level down there. So yeah, just to see what happens at those two levels. Wait for those confirmations, double bottom, head and shoulders, triple bottom, a very exaggerated wick, something like that, and then yeah, buys back up to those highs up there. So yeah, I hope that analysis helped. USD CAD short, yeah, I was looking at USD CAD short as well, Rex. Well, I still am looking at USD CAD short. The only reason I'm a bit iffy about USD CAD short is just because DXY looks like it potentially might be continuing. Oh, it's just pulled back there. That is very interesting from the DXY. It's got about a minute left, and it looks like it might just pull back underneath that. See, there's me just talking through the whole stream, pretty much saying, yeah, DXY is going to close above, and then it's pulled back. See, that's why it's so important to wait for candle closures, because, a good 30 minutes ago, I was probably about 90% confident that price was going to close above this level here. And as you can see, for a minute to go, it's kind of just flirting with it. It's still closed above, but it's looking a little bit dodgy there. So, yeah, what was I saying? What pair? USD CAD. Thank you, RDK. Thank you. You're amazing as well. Don't forget that. But yeah, USD CAD, I'm looking for those sells, but the only problem I had with it is because I think we might be seeing some more CAD weakness, which means USD CAD could be moving up, and also more US dollar strength, which also means that USD CAD could be moving up. So in terms of strength of currencies, or particular currencies, it's not looking the best, but from a technical point of view, is looking really good, because we've broken through this trend line here on the daily, so we're broken through that. That's our first sign, and also we've broken through this 1.26 area, so that's our second sign as well, which is this key area. So I'm looking to see if price will come back, respect that area, and push back to the downside there for USD CAD. So that's excuse me, that's what I was looking for USD CAD. But yeah, it all depends if price can hold on to this level for me for USD CAD. If it can hold on to that, great. I think some sales will be looking good. If not, and it breaks through, then I won't be. I'll just leave USD CAD alone. If it gets above 1.26, I'll leave it alone. But yeah, USD CAD sales do look good. If you can hold on to that level, show some nice rejection, then sell it back down again. If not, then I'll be leaving USD CAD alone. And yeah, looking at other pairs. But yeah, USD CAD, I do agree there. Rex, it does look good, but if it does break through that 1.26, I'll probably just leave it alone, because we might be seeing a little bit more upside if that does happen. Oil, so yeah, I'll take a look at oil. And yeah, Namzi, it's all about price action as well, because you can have fundamental reasons, or currency being bullish or something like that, but it's all about confirmation, because that's for me, that's like the trigger to get into a trade. So you can have a market that's fundamentally bearish or bullish, and then you're looking for the market that is actually has a bullish trend to it. You're looking to see if you can get involved, but you're not too sure because the fundamentals or whatever is saying the opposite. Just wait till you get that confirmation, and if there's no confirmation, then it means that the fundamentals might be winning here and doing whatnot to the markets. If you do get confirmation, then it probably means the fundamentals are not going to win this battle, and technicals are going to win the battle. So that's why I wait for confirmations and all my double tops, head and shoulders, because that will give me the extra, technical is actually going to win this time, or fundamentals are going to win this time. So yeah, extra confirmations is basically the answer to that, really. But yeah, I mean, exactly with oil falling, because it's funny with CAD. I think CAD, if CAD comes down, I'm pretty sure oil. Yeah, the correlation is CAD comes down, then oil comes down as well. If CAD goes up, then oil goes up. So yeah, because like I said, I think CAD can see a lot more downside this week, because we've been seeing a lot of choppy price action coming to the upside over the past couple of weeks. We did see a lot of momentum here for CAD CHF, a lot of momentum there for CAD JPY, and we're starting to lose that momentum. So I expect to see CAD take a bit of a breather this week. So if CAD does take that breather, that probably means oil is going to take that breather as well. And we do have some CAD news coming out tomorrow, and if that does follow technicals and it is bearish, then yeah, I think oil is going to keep falling to the downside for that pair as well. I expect probably more CAD weakness as well. But yeah, guys, that is the end of the stream. That is the end of the stream. Like always, I'm going to do a quick rundown of some of the pairs that we've looked at and the pairs that I'm looking at for later this week or tomorrow. And then yeah, look to end the stream on that note. But to start off, CAD JPY, I'm currently in a position here that I've been in since yesterday. Pretty much moved sideways for the whole position, and only this morning it's really actually kicked off. But yeah, looking at more downside for CAD JPY back into 87,250. That's my first take profit area. My second take profit area is 87. Is it 87? Yeah, 87 there. And then yeah, I'll exit that trade completely after that if it can get there, of course. But yeah, CAD JPY looking at a move there. CAD CHF, I do have my eye on this position, this trade. I'm expecting to see a dump to the downside for CAD, like I said, this week. So I'm waiting for that retrace. That retrace hopefully can come overnight or late New York session, and then tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon we'll look to short CAD CHF back down, because it has formed this wedge like Chia mentioned, and I think we're having that breakout now. And so I do expect it to come to the start of that wedge, which is this point here. So that's what I'm looking to short price into. So I'm waiting for that pullback and then to short it back down again. So yeah, that's a pair that I'm focusing on. Euro USD, this pair is having a hard time pushing down. It's come back to respect that support. It's actually closed quite bullish there. So yeah, Euro USD, like I said, if you can hold this resistance level intact, then I'm seeing more downside for Euro USD. If it comes up to go and break through that, then I think Euro USD is probably going to move back into the highs up there. I mean, like I said, Euro is quite strong right now. So it's only if we can see that weakness in the Euro right now. We're not really seeing that too much. So yeah, it just depends what happens with the Euro, but right now is looking at Euro is holding on to that. So we'll see what happens at this resistance. If it can come up, great, respect that resistance, come right back down again, and I think sales will be looking good at a nice double top of that level. But yeah, essentially if that level can hold intact, then we should be selling off for Euro USD. If it breaks through it, then Euro USD might be coming back to those highs. But yeah, just monitor what happens at this resistance. If it stays intact, sells. If not, I'll probably leave Euro USD alone. Pound USD, we already did sell off there. Pound's been quite weak this morning. You can see completely opposite from Pound USD to Euro USD. Whereas Euro USD looks like it's moving sideways a bit now, and Pound USD has had a mad move down. I still think Euro can catch up with Pound, but yeah, Euro does need to hold into that level for that to happen. But yeah, Pound USD, I think, because we almost hit the first level that I'm expecting price to go. So if we can see that retrace back up to here, then yeah, some sales will be looking good, but we might not. We might just fall to the downside. So I think I'll probably leave Pound USD alone. The only way I'll look to get involved, if it does retrace, if it does just continue, then yes, hit my target, I'll just leave it alone. That opportunity is already passed. But if it can retrace back into here, or maybe even back into there even, then yeah, I think some sales will be looking good. But if it doesn't and just continues, then yeah, I'll leave Pound USD alone. Gold, like I said, for this pair, it's coming into a really key area of support. Did I delete all my? It looks like I did. Yeah, it's coming into a key area of support. So like I said, if we can hold into this area, buys will be looking good back up again. But if it does break through, I think we'll come back down to the 1797 mark. And if that does happen, then I'll be looking to buy from here. But essentially, gold is looking quite bearish now, so I'm not too confident in buys there, especially with all that momentum. Rather see price push down a little bit more, then look to buy it rather than buy it here. But if we can hold on to that level, then yeah, push back up to 1820 does look good, and then some sales back down again probably. And if you take a look at the DXY, so what's happening with the DXY? Okay, so DXY, we pulled all the way back down, so you kind of just closed above it, but again, it's not really a confident close. So again, that's what's so important to wait for those candle closures. I mean, it technically has, because it's closed above those highs there, the candle highs, not the wick highs, the candle body highs. It's closed above them, so it's broken through that, but it hasn't given me a convincing close, because we did have the candle pushing up to these highs there. So if we had a closure up there, then that would be a really nice break of that resistance. Whereas now, it's like a 60-40 sort of break. So I still expect to see more upside for the DXY. Like I said, I still expect to see a push to 92,500. But just now, it might mean that the DXY might go back to the downside again before it does move up. So do take that into account. But I still expect more upside for the DXY, regardless, basically as long as we stay above that trend line really. But yeah, we might move down first, which is probably why Euro USD is having such a hard time right now. Yeah, but Euro USD, as long as it can hold on to that resistance, more downside, and a lot of these other pairs as well. AU, that's almost hit my first target as well, so I do want to see some retracement before price does sell off, but then more downside for that one as the USD. Same thing for that one's pulled back into that resistance there, so maybe if we can hold on to that, over the next hour or so, then some sales will be looking good. But do take into account we do have a level right there, so it could reject it quite quickly. If I just zoom out for you guys, you can see we do have that level going across there, so do take that into account. Like I said, the main pair I'll probably be focusing on is your USD. USD CAD I'm not too sure about. I will look to see what happens here, guys. But besides from that, I think your USD is the main pair I'll be looking at for shorts. And then yeah, I'm really in CAD JPY as well, so I'll be monitoring that and seeing how that position gets on. And also CAD CHF as well will be a really nice opportunity, but we've still got a lot of retracement to get going before anything happens there. But yeah, guys, that is the end of the stream. I will be live again tomorrow and Thursday as well, Wednesday, Thursday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. GMT. So I hope I do see you guys for that as well. But right now, we'll be looking to end the stream. Feel free to subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content, and if you enjoyed the video, drop a like on the video. It does really help the channel out, guys. But thanks again for joining the stream. I really do appreciate all of you. But yeah, I hope you have a great day, and I hope I see you tomorrow.